Alright, let's try to get this before the upstairs neighbors start screaming again. Hello friends, welcome or welcome back. Today I am here to talk about what is a gut feeling and what is anxiety. Like, I don't know any definitions or anything, so if you're here to like flip through the dictionary with me, I don't think that's gonna happen. I've always had a lot of trouble trusting my gut. I spent a lot of time in therapy over the years, like trying to identify what is my gut. And I think most of what I was taking as gut feelings for a long time was anxiety. Somebody is vacuuming in the hallway outside my apartment. I am clearly not meant to accomplish jack sh. A good example of anxiety in gut feelings clothing is, this is for all my empaths out there. When you can sense that somebody's mad at you, is it because you can feel it in the air, or is it because your brain is picking up on the fact that they have put something down louder than usual, or that they have not looked at you for a certain number of minutes, or any number of patterns that our brains recognize that we may not pick up on? Does that make any sense? Something that has helped me to distinguish anxiety from gut feeling is, where does this gut feeling come from? I'm gonna start looking around inside my belly and find, where is the root of this gut feeling? What is making my gut feel this way? Because if it's just my gut, there won't be anything to find. But if I go looking around, sometimes I'll find, like, that's a screwdriver. What's that doing in there? Of course it's uncomfortable. I couldn't even tell you the percentage of the time that it happens. But ever since trying to identify what is going, like, why do I feel this way? I have a feeling. I have a feeling. Is that feeling valid? Ever since trying to do that, I've noticed that I'm able to recognize things that are making me anxious because I'm learning about it by looking around, you know? I can then avoid those things when necessary, or understand myself well enough to make it through the next time I'm faced with this particular anxiety. And sometimes a gut feeling is like, oh, I don't know, did I turn my straightener off? Oh, I don't know, I have a bad feeling. And then that bad feeling, that gut feeling it's not simply a feeling, it's the fact that somewhere in your brain you remember, I was scanning the room for my car keys and I saw that my straightener was still turned on, but I was looking for my car keys. And then that information took a minute to catch up with you. And by you, I definitely, absolutely mean me. This isn't a real scenario, but it's one I could see happening. Anyway, God, I need to be more concise. Sometimes a gut feeling is just your brain picking up on information and relaying that information in a way that you think makes you psychic sometimes. I'm sorry, I have problems. Not me. Anyway, I suppose the point I'm trying to make is that when I have a gut feeling something is bad. This happened to me extremely recently. I just remembered it now. You watched in real time as I remembered it. So the end of January is always kind of weird for me. I've had a fascinating and traumatic life. It's not sad, I promise. There are like emotional landmarks throughout the year, and the end of January is always a little bit hard. I often forget about that. So I had just a gut feeling. I had a feeling something's wrong. I'm not there. I'm not there. And I felt away from something. I felt a need. I felt drawn to something, and it was making me feel anxious. It was drawing my anxiety up. Something that happens to me more often lately, stress levels elevated and whatnot, everybody can relate, is that I will begin to think I'm dying. Anyway, so that starts to happen. I start to feel like I'm dying, and I'm like, okay, there's no reason for me to feel like the great beyond is imminent. Why do I feel this way? Given the fact that I know that I have a trauma disorder, I looked at the date, and I couldn't think January 29th. What? And then I realized somewhere in my system and my body and my brain, I was processing grief, not even processing, experiencing grief connected to my mother entering end of life care, essentially. This was a number of years ago, and it still, 7 years later, I felt this way and had no idea why. And before going through the process of doing a lot of really hard work mentally and trying to understand myself and trying to understand where my feelings come from and where my unpleasant feelings come from, especially, before all of this, I would have taken it as a gut feeling and probably been like, you're mad at me. Whoever's nearest to me, I can feel there's a storm and I can feel it and it's coming from behind your eyes. That was a thing. I think my mother struggled with this a lot when she was here. No shit. No, she doesn't struggle with it now. I think my mother struggled with this a lot because often responsibility for her unpleasant feelings would be placed on those around her because she had a gut feeling that somebody was hiding something from her. Like her intuition was telling her that something wasn't right and she could feel it radiating off of me, type of thing. Looking back at all of that with the information that I have now and the tools that I have picked up along the way, I think I can understand that my mother was suffering from anxiety but didn't understand that, so she had to put she needed somewhere to place it. You need to put a name on something so you understand it, you know? So instead of looking into psychology, she was against that. It was a message from above telling her that someone around her was doing something sketchy, blah blah blah. So do I put that in? I don't know. I feel like a number of issues that have come up in my past could have been resolved if myself especially, but like if everybody in any situation takes a moment to assess unpleasant feelings as they come up. But oof, it's difficult. They move fast. They move so fast. And I'm not saying gut feelings don't exist. There's something to be said about intuition and just knowing connections that like parents have with their babies, and they just like, I just know something's going on. I don't know what it is. I just know. And then they take the kid in and then there's like, oh, yeah, it's blah blah blah. Excellent. Good work, excellent. Keen observation, parent. There's something to be said for gut feelings. If your gut feelings are beginning to have a negative impact on your life, and if your gut feelings are beginning to stop you from progressing in a positive direction, then I think it's time to start investigating your gut and feelings in relation to that. And it can be really complicated to trust your gut, as they say, and also identify and dismantle your anxiety. Oh, I don't think I ever finished telling you. The other day, like at the end of January, when I started feeling like okay, everything is overwhelming me a lot right now, it helped when I found out, oh, it's because there's this like upsetting and in some ways traumatic, it's just this thing that has gone down in the past. My body is remembering it, and there's a piece of my brain that is remembering it, that I, in the driver's seat, whatever little piece of me is driving right now, I don't remember, but something does. Once I was able to identify that and get to the bottom of the gut feeling, I was able to kind of move past it a little bit easier. I was able to make room for it. I was able to understand. It's like inviting somebody into your home, I suppose. Somebody comes to your door, you don't recognize them, you're not gonna let them in. I hope. Okay, somebody comes to my door, I don't recognize them, I'm not gonna let them in. If somebody comes to my door and I'm not expecting anybody, I'm going to hide and pretend I'm not home. But that isn't relevant to the point I'm trying to make. A gut feeling knocks on your door. You don't understand it, so it's starting to freak you out. You can ask it to remove its sunglasses and reveal its face to you. And if the sunglasses, these are prescription, like they stay on, then okay, it's a gut feeling. But if the gut feeling takes its shades and like top hat off and like its plague doctor mask, if it reveals itself to be something that you recognize, whether you like what you see or not, I'm here to encourage you to invite it in, even if it's something that makes you uncomfortable, if it's something that makes you afraid. Sometimes those are the most important ones to allow to come inside. This doesn't apply to vampires. If it says it isn't a vampire, close the door. You know what? If anybody says anything about vampires, close the door and go back to bed. I don't know if anything in this video made any kind of sense. Thank you so much for watching. As mentioned in a clip that I may or may not have included from one of my many attempts to record this video, today my dog is making a bunch of very annoying sounds beside me, so I'm going to take this as an opportunity to let you know that I am unemployed, so I sit at home doing my silly little crafts for Etsy. I've gotten a couple of 5-star reviews if you feel like checking it out. Okay, sitting at home is not how I would describe what I'm doing. Anyway, you can purchase a silly little craft on my Etsy shop, or, you know, service dog gear, whatever you want. Trust yourself enough to search your feelings, and trust yourself enough to deal with whatever you see when you take the gut feelings mask off. If it's something that makes you feel unpleasant, try to figure out how to navigate the terrain safely and in a way where you can have maybe a good time. Is this how people invented skiing? Anyway, sometimes you identify the anxiety and it is all downhill from there, but I don't have any advice for that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to be kind to yourself and others, and I will see you very soon. Bye.